If I asked you what you want your book marketing to accomplish over the next 90 days, would your first answer be sell more books? Probably, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You wrote your book because you believe in its message and you want people to read it. But if book sales are the only way you're measuring whether your marketing is working, you might be missing a lot of the relationship building that's happening before your reader ever clicks buy. A new email subscriber, a new podcast listener, a host who wants to keep collaborating with you, a reader who hears something she needs today, even if she never buys your book. Those things matter too, especially when your goal isn't just to sell something, but you want to faithfully serve the women that God called you to reach. So, before we start talking about how podcast hosting and guesting can help you build those reader relationships, I want to help you answer one question, and that's what do you actually want the next 90 days of your book marketing to accomplish? Last episode, we talked about changing the way we think about book marketing from simply asking, how do I sell my book, to now thinking about how can we build relationships with the readers who need our message most. And that includes more than the woman who may eventually buy your book. It also includes the women who serve and support your readers, their podcast hosts, ministry leaders, fellow authors, and friends who may someday point their girlfriend toward you and your book. That's the bigger picture behind Reach, Relate, Remember. You want to reach the right women. You want to relate to the struggle they're experiencing and what they need, and you want to give them a reason to remember you and your message. That's our big picture marketing goal. But for the next 90 days, I really want you to zoom in and think about what would you specifically like to see grow? Because build reader relationships gives us some direction to go, but I still think we need something a little more solid to help us decide where we're going to spend our time and whether what we're doing is actually working. And of course, book sales can be your 90-day goal, but I want you to go one step deeper and think about the goal you need the most right now, because book sales can be a result of that, but they don't always tell you what you need to focus your time on today. And if sell more books is the only goal you give yourself, then it's going to make every marketing activity that you're doing feel like, it either worked or shoot. I failed at this, right? Based on if you just look at whether somebody bought your book or not. But if somebody hears you on a podcast and isn't ready to buy yet, what if she joined your email list? What if she started listening to your podcast every week? What if she told a friend about something you shared? What if a podcast host loved your interview and introduces you to another host who serves your target readers? Those things all matter too. And they're signs that reader relationships are happening and growing. So ask yourself, who am I trying to reach in this season as a podcast guest or host? And what would I love to see grow over the next 90 days? Maybe it is book sales. That can absolutely be your goal if you want. But maybe the thing you most need right now is just growing your email list so you have a way to continue serving readers after they first discover you. Maybe you want more of your target readers listening to your podcast so they can hear from you more than once and get opportunities to join your email list, right? And take the next step with you. Or maybe you're preparing for a future book launch and your goal is to build relationships with fellow authors and podcasters that are already serving your readers, right? So whenever you know your 90-day goal, it's much easier to steward it because it helps you make those choices of how you're going to spend your time, your energy, decide yes or no on opportunities that come up, and steward that message you've been given. And you can serve someone even if she never buys your book, because sometimes she hears you on a podcast today, may not buy your book, but then something you say helps her take one step forward in conquering that struggle. It may help her understand something she has been dealing with. It may give her hope, and it may, of course, point her towards God. That's serving at its best. And you can serve women generously and still have a clear goal to accomplish. So, for the next 90 days, think about one primary marketing goal. Maybe it's book sales, maybe it's growing your email list, maybe it's growing your podcast listeners, or growing your network of women who serve and reach your readers. You may see progress in several of those areas, but if you had to just pick one that needed your attention most in the next 90 days, what would that be? And then I also want you to ask, why? Why does this goal matter to me? If it's growing your email list, maybe it's because you need a direct way, one on one, to keep encouraging your reader after she finds you. Or if it's growing your podcast, maybe it's because you know you're going to meet new to you readers on somebody else's podcast, but they need more than just that one interview to move forward in their struggle. So they need a place to connect with you, which is your podcast. Or if you're going to focus on building relationships with other podcast hosts that serve your readers, maybe it's because you know they already have the trust of your target readers and you would never be able to reach them on your own without their help. And yes, again, if your goal is selling more books, maybe it matters because you genuinely believe what you have packaged up into your book is the best way for her to get through her struggle, because that why for our goal is going to keep it connected to the person that we're meant to serve, and it makes it a whole lot easier to measure. And once you know what matters most over the next 90 days, then you can start making much better decisions about how podcasting as a guest or host or both can support your goal. And that's where we're going to be going in our next episode, because hosting your own podcast and guesting on somebody else's can both help you build the reader relationships you want. But they don't always do the same job, and you don't have to use them the same way. For now, just stick with these two questions. What am I called to focus on in this season to build reader relationships? And what would faithful progress look like over the next 90 days? That's what I want you to think about. Thanks for tuning in to Book Marketing Mania today. And as always, I'll be there for you next episode to help you build reader relationships one podcast at a time. See you then.